Hey y'all, welcome back to Sidewynders Shed. So what I'm trying to do now is give a little bit longer video of not tearing apart or taking down these two different valve bodies, because they pretty much disassemble exactly the same way, and there's better videos out there by other people that would be able to show you a whole lot better how to disassemble them and how to clean them. But what I wanted to go through with this, the point of this video, is the difference between the valve body on an A-518 46RH non-lockup valve body, which that's this one, and the more common, the very more common, the 95 friggin' percent more common valve body, which is the one with the lockup torque converter. And there are a few things here that I wanted to show you right off the bat. Let me see if I can find something to point with. Okay, a few things I wanted to point out. It's right up here. We have two solenoids. Okay, and you have three wires. You have white, you have black, you have red, and your connector right here has 3 pins in it. And yeah, let's see. Let's get a little closer here. See, that has 3 pins. Okay. Now over here, the non-lockup, okay, we only have one solenoid. That is for the overdrive. The other one over here, that is for the lockup, obviously. And here you have 2 wires. And I know this is nasty in here, but you have 1 and 2. You have a 2-pin connector. That is it. See if we can get a... Yeah, see, there's only 2 pins in there. And this one has a 3-pin connector. That is one of the first differences. Okay. And that's easy to tell when the transmission is actually in the vehicle. If you have a 2-pin connector, you do not have a lockup torque converter. If you have a 3-pin connector, you have a lockup torque converter. And again, both with overdrives. Second thing, there is absolutely no valve in here. There is no shuttle valve. This is just a blank casting. That's it. This over here is just a dummy valve. There's no spring in the bottom. This valve doesn't do anything. It's just in there taking up space. Whereas on your lockup, there is a valve in here, and there is a valve with a spring in here that actually works and moves, and that is operated by your solenoid. And as far as them being together, that's some of the biggest differences. Now, some minor differences. This little plate is different. Than this plate. Not a big deal. Doesn't really matter. Doesn't do anything. And on the top, if you look at this little bit of reinforcement, not much there. On this one, it is a much larger piece. As you can see, this is a much larger piece. That, from what I understand, that's just That's just for reinforcement. That's just to help hold it in place. And next thing we're going to do, and it's simply, I'm going to take these apart. And again, I'm not going to have you watch the whole thing. Plenty of other vehicles out there, or other videos out there that show taking everything apart. But the reason why I want to take these apart again is I do have some issues with part of the valve body. As you can see, we get a little bit of wear in here. And I've tried and checked everything to see if there's any way I could actually tighten that up. And from what I can tell and what I've tried, there really isn't without replacing it. Okay. This one here is nice and tight. The other problem I ran into is because this is so loose. Yeah, I lost the check ball. There's a little ball bearing that goes in there. I found the spring, but I can't find the check ball. And instead of taking the chance of putting another check ball in there and staking the end, and then maybe, you know, someday having it come out inside the transmission, what I'm going to do is just swap, and believe it or not, the way it's sitting right now, this is the lower valve body. I'm just going to swap the lower valve body from the overdrive, from the lockup valve body straight over to this one. And so while I'm doing that, I will show you the internals. This one should have an extra ball bearing in it, and this separator plate right here. Same with this one. These two separator plates should be slightly different. You see all the holes that are cut into them? Well, internally they have the same thing. They have holes, slots, and everything for the different passages. Since this one does not use all of the valves and doesn't need fluid going to all the passages because it doesn't have a lockup torque converter, these plates should be slightly different. And that's something that I just want to point out. Again, as far as taking these apart, cleaning them up, reassembling them, what to look for, plenty of other videos out there that will show that a whole lot better than I can. So I'm not going to bother showing you all that. I'm just going to take them apart. While they're apart, I will show you the differences, and if possible, I'll get a better view of the valves and that separator plate, and you can see for yourself the differences in them. All right, so we'll bring you back in a little bit. Okay, after taking out most of these bolts right here, and they're all the same length, and there's 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yep, there's 13 of them. Okay, so let me take out these other 3. Then the upper valve body will come right off. And as you can see, this is where the intelligent scientific ants come in. And they're the ones that designed all these passageways. And this is where the fluid goes. With that being said, okay, when this is on, okay, yeah, of course, this plate goes on here, and this is what I was talking about, all these little holes inside. Okay, when I get the other one apart, I will show you the difference on this plate. And as for right now, I'll put that aside because I'm using that part. I'm going to be using the intermediate. I'm going to be using this original piece right here as well. And as you can see, this also has another plate up top. Okay, and we'll check and see what that one looks like on this other valve body. And here's the filter. All right, now if I remove these screws right here, this plate will come off as well. But I will do that later. Okay, and so now we come inside here. And as you can see, there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 ball bearings. 6 of these are all the same size. This one is different. And I do believe that in this other valve body, we will have an extra ball bearing. I am not 100% sure. We will find out shortly. Okay guys, now here are those 2 separator plates. This one is for the lockup transmission. Okay, this is for the non-lockup. This is the one we're going to be using, because if we put these 2 here together, let's see what we can find. Well, we can find that this is a passageway that is not open. And here is a passageway that is not open. We also have a smaller on the non-lockup. You can see we have a smaller hole there instead of a slot. Let's flip it around to the back side. And believe it or not, now this is the non-lockup side. Right up here. That is different. It is open on the non-lockup, but it is not there on the lockup. So that's the differences I saw in that separator plate. Okay. Well, over here, there isn't too much difference. But one of the biggest things I noticed is the ball bearings. There's the same number of them. There's 7. We have 1 here, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. The 8th one, I believe it goes somewhere around here. I can't quite remember because I haven't had to deal with it. Okay, but the difference is, if you look, these ball bearings are plastic. Over on the original one, they're steel. And I can feel the difference in the weight. I'm going to do a little bit of research on this, because given my druthers, I think I'd rather use the steel ball bearings. But we're going to check it out, because there was something else I noticed too. Where are you? Why can't I see you? There we are. Yeah, if you look at that that valve right there, she's tore up. She is tore up something fierce. So yeah, before I go ahead and swap over this lower valve body, because this valve goes right in here. I want to check out the bore inside the valve body here and see what's up. If the bore looks okay, not a big deal, because I do have another one. But I want to see, and that one seems to fit nice and tight without being too tight. But I want to take a gander inside there, so I'm going to pull these ball bearings out, and I'm going to wash this whole lower valve body off, dry it out, and see what it looks like. Okay guys, after doing a little bit of research, the steel ball bearings are fine. The weight is negligible, it won't make a difference, but I am using the steel ball bearings in the other lower part of the valve body that I'm switching out. That's the new one. This is my old one. Okay, second thing is too, I checked the bore in here. The bore is fine. So we will also be installing this shuttle valve in here. And we will be using this shuttle valve inside here. Need to get a little oil in it, but when I had it oiled up, it worked fine. So I'll be using that shuttle valve instead of, come on, focus, instead of this one. Matter of fact, yeah, this shuttle valve looks okay. But anyway, all right, I will bring you back when I get it mostly together. All right, guys, we got it back together. And I'm so sorry, I just realized I've been calling this the lower valve body. This piece right here that had all the check balls in, the piece that I'm actually replacing, I am so sorry. It is the upper valve body. And these are, you know, those pieces I showed you. Yeah, that's a separator plate. Anyway, my bad. I'm sorry, misspoke. Trying to pay attention to what I'm doing. And I had the friggin' directions right here. It says lower valve body. Right on that. And that shows that part. That's the lower valve body. Okay. Very simple. Looking right at it. Upper valve body. That's the piece that I just put all together. Okay, and with that being said, where are we? Here we go. Throttle pressure adjusting screw. Okay. And in here, that is the valve that I replaced. That's this valve right here. Okay. And so anyway, that's the one I put a different valve in. Well, anyway, I'm going to end this. This is about 20 minutes long now. That's longer than I wanted. And here's the lockup. Well, that's actually the upper valve body that I just swapped over. The rest of this laying out here is for that lockup torque converter valve body. And like I said, plastic ball bearings in it instead of steel. But I put the steel ones back in mine because that's what it came with. And everything is fine. Y'all have a good day. Okay, y'all, I just wanted to bring you back and explain to you what these valves are. All right, right over here, this is, and I'm checking my notes, this is the converted clutch valve, and there's supposed to be a spring up here. There is none. Why? Well, this valve is useless because there's no solenoid. Okay, if you look over at this one, you have a solenoid. That operates this shuttle valve, and there is a spring right up in there. This one has no spring. Doesn't matter, it is not used. The passageway is closed off by that separator plate, and there's no solenoid to operate it anyway. The second valve is called the converted clutch timing valve and spring. And if you can see on this transmission valve body for the non-lockup, there's absolutely nothing in there. It's empty. There you go. Empty space. No valve in there whatsoever at all. This one, on the other hand, you can, come on, if you can see it, there is a valve inside here. Okay, and right here, you can see it sticking out. Right here is just a space. So that valve is missing because they're not used, they're not needed. I just thought I would kind of mention that. And thank you all for sticking with me. I really do appreciate it. I'm learning as I go. This transmission is something else, let me tell you. And this is one of the simple ones. So anyway, I'm giving it a shot because I don't have money for a rebuilt one. I don't have money to have somebody rebuild one for me. So we're doing the best we can. And I appreciate y'all sticking with me, watching an idiot fool around with this. Thank you so much. And stay tuned. I will have more adventures on the way. Y'all take care.